Well, I think the first impression is very important because first impression is what lasts in the mind of the interviewer throughout the interview. And talking about myself, the first question that they asked me was, why do you want to prefer EY? And they asked me to answer that question in just 5 or 6 words. So what I did was I just answered the question in their own tagline, that is, I want to build a better working world, which was very impressive to them and it helped me throughout the interview.
The first impression is the last impression. Yes, it's the most crucial and the important part of your interview. To my personal experience, as soon as I entered the room and the interviewer asked me about introduction of myself, then I started with the lines which were very close to my heart, and I remembered that throughout the interviewer was remembering the poet which I knew.
First impressions are definitely not the last impressions, but they are the ones that last. They define the course of your interview. So it is always important to make a good first impressions. My thought process in the complete interview was to let them know that I was interested, and I started it from the very beginning. I let them know that I was the first one from my family to come in the commerce field.
So for the selection process, I would say that we should learn the basics. We should study about the basic aptitude test as well, because it is the first step of the selection process. So like we should read the basic overview of aptitude, quantitative aptitude, LR and English as well.
So generally in Big Four there are 5 rounds. The first one is the test. The second is GD, and all the 3 rounds are personal interview. So for the test, I would suggest just give the mock test or just read the basics of different things like cons, LRDI. So these are the questions which will be asked, and after that there is ZD. For ZD, you have to be prepared with like 1 month current affairs, what are the affairs, and be prepared with the points of different things. And for the interviews, there are HR interview. For the HR interview, I would suggest that just write down the questions. There are only limited questions in HR, and be prepared with that, but write every question in detail and just try to present it in different way and very effective way. So it will help you to give an impact in the first step. And for the technical round and the last round, it totally depends on your knowledge.
The funniest or the smartest answer was given to the question, why CA? They asked me because they are never really convinced when you tell them that you are really interested in the field. They always need something more to the answer. So what I told them was, it gives you authority. When they asked me to explain that, I told them, सबसे पहले एम्प्लॉयर क्लास आता है, उसके ऊपर आता है उसको एम्प्लॉय करने वाला MBA, उसका पैसा जो चलाता है वो CA. That is why I want that authority, I want that power.
The funniest answer I replied was that they asked me what is your hobby or what you do for your interest. I said that I like traveling. So they smiled. So they thought that I am saying this so that it will be comfortable for them. But I said that no, it's really I like traveling.
The most important part of your CV is your internship. They totally focus on the internship, what did you learn over there, and actually what are the important things which were relevant to your professions. They totally grill you on that part, and so just make sure that whatever you are writing in your CV, you all know about that.
The most important thing that was there in my CV was definitely securing a rank in the IPCC examination, and I think that did play a very major role in my making it through the interviews, because at the end the CV does matter. And other thing, I also had a rank in the CS executive examination, so that also added to my CV. But apart from that, I also mentioned in my CV the various events that I have been part of in the college life, because what they're looking forward is not just the academics and the technicals, but also the co-curriculars and extracurricular activities a person has done through the course of his college and school life.
Just get a deep understanding of all the profiles of all the subjects, then choose your interest. And don't think that if all are going for that field, then you should also go for that field. And for my interest being in internal audit, I would say that it is a field which involves a lot of analytical skills and a lot of brainstorming, in the sense that you have to develop a way to minimize the risk for the company.
If in a 15 minutes interview you are questioned about your extracurricular activities for 10 minutes, so I think they do play a major role. Plus they tell the interviewers that yes, you can manage a lot of things and you can work under pressure, I have seen a lot of IPCC students backing off from the extracurricular activities, but I would suggest them to involve in those activities and enjoy everything.
Besides maintaining a good academic background, you also have to maintain a proper balance between academic and the extra co-curricular activities. Because whenever companies come, they always ask you what do you have to offer us except your academics. So just remember these things and focus on your extracurricular activities also.
I think that extracurricular activities, they do play a very major role in your interview and the entire process, because the companies in this current scenario, they're not only looking forward to a bookworm or someone who is good at the academics, but they also want someone who is good working with the people, who has worked in the team before, has the leadership skills and good communication skills. So they obviously do look at the extracurricular activities. But one thing which I would like to advise over here is that in order to enhance your extracurriculars, do not compromise on academics, because that is the benchmark and that is the first thing the companies will obviously see when they are coming for you. But at the same time, extracurriculars do matter, and it's important to involve yourself in a number of activities in the college and even outside the colleges. So it's very important in order to enhance the entire personality and the CV.
So you guys would be in the preparation phase. I have 3 things to say. Please take one task at a time and nail it. Don't be too serious, but yes, please be sincere towards the objective that you are pursuing. Second, with padai, it's also important is masti. So calm bhi, dhamal bhi, do focus. You mix studies with extracurricular activities too. And third, since you know towards the end you'll just have 1.5 day holiday for your attempt. So make your notes, prepare your study plan accordingly so that you are able to revise the entire chapter during that phase. Wish you all the best. Check the fatte.
If I talk about what were the mistakes, that don't be overconfident in the interview. It happens that you give answers of 1 or 2 or 5 questions in a streak, then you get overconfident. Yeah, this interview is going well and I will do best in the upcoming questions. But my advice is be relaxed and don't be overconfident. It happens. Just listen the question, because sometimes it will happen that you will not listen the last word of the question. Just listen the question, otherwise it will create a very bad impression. And throughout the interview, just make the eye contact with the interviewer. Just don't roll your eyes here and there and don't look at your shoes.
Okay, so one of the mistakes that I did was that basically we were given a pre-interview form the night before the interview and I could not fill that form at time.
For the coachings, I would like to say that take coachings for only those subjects in which you consider yourself weak. Like don't go for coachings for each and every subject. We can easily avoid coachings for those subjects like audit, ITSM.
Apart from the IPCC books and the current affairs, I also read about the recent developments that are taking place in the CA course, like the INDES or the BEPS and these technical things. And I with my colleagues practiced mock GDs.
For technical round, they will try to put you in pressure. Then after pressure, they will ask you the simple question. So for every question, you have to just show them that how you are analyzing the question. They don't want to know the exact answer for the simple question. Okay, so just tell them how you are analyzing the question and just make the eye contact with them. This will give you confidence and this will show them that you are very confident for your answers.
The interview generally begins with a very serious expression, but the interviewers should always try to make the mood a bit relaxed. So always try to come up with some funny answers or like relax the mood a bit. One instance that comes to my personal mind is the very beginning of my interview. The interviewer asked me a very basic question. Why CA? I thought for a while because it was like the same question has crossed my personal mind a lot of times. Then in a very simpler and simplistic manner I replied, why not CA? And there was a silence and we crossed smiles, and then I substantiated my claim and saying like I always had an inherent interest towards taxation, towards auditing and all. So it was like, and being from a CA background with 4 cousins having already pursued CA, I was like, why not CA?
First of all, be relaxed. Don't panic. Take your time. Be open-minded. Then don't choose very hard words or like very tough words.
Basically, I prepared for the interview from the point of view of the technical round as well as the HR round. For the technical round, I revised my concepts about the accounting standards, the standards of auditing as I had applied for the auditing wing. And what I felt that more than technical round, we need to prepare for the HR round as well, because usually a number of times we do not give any much focus to the HR round, but we should basically prepare a set of answers for the basic questions, such as what are your strengths and weaknesses, or why do you want to prefer this particular organization, or tell me about yourself. So these are some of the questions that if we do not prepare ourselves beforehand, we tend to stammer in the interview, which gives a very bad impression.
So feeling of rejection is the worst, and after being an SRI, the feeling increases by leaps and bounds. Don't lose your morale, just keep working hard and exploring new options, because this is not the end. There are a hell lot of opportunities beyond the circumstances in which you are tagged. So go find out the options, and always remember one thing: you were not rejected because you were not good. You were rejected because you were not suitable for that particular job. Find out the loopholes, work on it, explore new options, find out a suitable job, and just enjoy your career life.
Fear of failure is always at the back of everyone's mind, but one should not always be afraid of it. Rather, take it as a next stepping stone. Failures are the next step to success. That was always being quoted to me in my early years. That's what I thought when I was being rejected in the initial stages. My CV was not being selected at any single company, but I never lost hope. I always waited for the perfect opportunity, for the perfect time to be grabbed. And that's what I feel right now, having been placed in EY. I feel like I was always born to be a CA, and I will always be a CA.
If you weren't selected, then you should focus on what's next, because from my experience, like I didn't clear the test of EY, so it was very hurtful for me, because and at that time also I was feeling very nervous, and because the next day only the PwC was coming, I was like, oh shit, yeah, there should be one more day to at least relax myself. I was thinking, okay, it's good if I'm rejected now, because I got the half day to revise, so it was a good point for me. And don't feel low, because Big Four is equal.
If you are not selected, don't get disheartened. Just remember these lines. हम हमेशा दूसरों को 2 मौके देते हैं, कभी खुद को भी 2 मौके देखना चाहिए.